At some point you probably watched a morning routine video, maybe even more than one. Someone waking up at 5 AM, journaling, meditating, working out, all before most people even open their eyes. There's this idea that's everywhere right now, that the morning is the most important part of the day, that if you get it right, everything else follows, and if you don't, you're already behind. And it sounds logical. The morning is quiet. Nobody is asking for anything yet. No messages, no noise, no pressure. It's the one moment of the day that could actually belong to you. So people build systems around it. Wake up earlier, don't check your phone, move your body, write 3 things you're grateful for, drink water before coffee. There's a whole architecture designed around the perfect morning. I've tried it myself. The early alarm, the no phone rule, the journal, and for a few days it actually felt good, like I had figured something out, like I was finally one of those people who had their mornings together. But there's something underneath all of it that nobody really talks about. The morning routine isn't just a habit, it's a promise that if you start the day right, you'll finally feel like the version of yourself you're supposed to be. And that promise feels powerful, because most of us have this quiet feeling that we're not quite operating at our best, that there's a better version of the day, somewhere just ahead, and the morning feels like the door to it. Here's the thing though, if you look closely at what people actually want from a morning routine, it's rarely about the routine itself. It's about a feeling, a very specific feeling. That feeling of being ahead, not rushing, not reacting to everything immediately, just having a moment that's yours before the day takes over. That's what people are actually chasing, not the cold shower, not the 5 AM alarm. Because what the routine promises is a sense of control, and control in the morning feels important because the rest of the day rarely gives you much of it. You wake up and the day already has plans for you, emails, decisions, other people's needs. So the morning becomes this small window before all of that starts. A few quiet minutes when you get to decide what happens first. And that matters more than people realize. On the mornings where I don't rush, where I have even just 15 minutes that feel unhurried, the whole day sits differently. Not because I did anything special, just because I started from a calmer place. And that's the part worth holding on to. Not the specific steps of a routine, but the underlying need it's trying to meet. A moment of calm before the noise. A few minutes of intention before the day pulls you in 12 directions. That's what you're actually looking for. And the uncomfortable truth is, you don't need a structured routine to get that. You just need a morning that doesn't start in reaction mode. One where you arrive in the day instead of being dragged into it. But here's where it gets complicated, because the routine doesn't just become a habit. At some point, it becomes a standard. And when you miss it, when you hit that snooze button 3 times, you feel like you already failed something, before 7 AM. And that feeling is strange, because nothing actually went wrong. You just didn't do the thing. But somehow it contaminates everything after, like the whole day is already written off before it even started. I know this feeling well. There are mornings where I check my phone first thing, and I immediately feel like I did something wrong, like I broke a rule nobody actually wrote down, and the rest of the morning carries that weight. And that's the trap nobody talks about. The routine was supposed to reduce pressure, to make the morning feel calmer, but somewhere along the way, it became another thing to get right, another way to grade yourself before the day even starts. We do this with a lot of things. We take something that's supposed to help us feel better, and we turn it into a performance, a metric, and then we feel worse when we don't hit it, even if we were fine before we started. So maybe the question isn't, how do I stick to my morning routine? Maybe it's something like, why does missing it feel like failing? Because that feeling is worth looking at. So if the routine isn't the answer, what is? Honestly, it might be simpler than anything you've seen in a YouTube video. Most people who feel good in the morning don't have a perfect routine. They just have a few small things that happen often enough to feel familiar, consistent but not rigid, and crucially, not something they feel bad about skipping when life gets in the way. Maybe it's just coffee before the phone, maybe it's 10 minutes outside, maybe it's not setting an alarm on the days you don't have to. Small things, unimpressive things, but things that are actually yours. For me, it's just not opening anything for the first 15 minutes. No messages, no news, nothing. Just existing in the morning for a bit, before the morning becomes the day. That's it. That's the whole routine. Because what actually works isn't the system someone else built and packaged into a video. It's whatever gives you those few minutes of calm before the noise starts. And that looks different for everyone. It might not even look like a routine at all. So maybe the goal was never to optimize the morning. Maybe it was just to actually have one. A few minutes that exist before everything else claims your attention. Not a morning you performed. Not a morning you graded yourself on. Just a morning where you were present for at least a few minutes before the day took over. That's already more than most people give themselves. Because the version of you that wakes up at 5 AM and journals and meditates and works out might exist someday, or might never exist. And both of those are fine. What matters is what you do with the morning you actually have. My best mornings aren't the ones where I did everything right. They are the ones where I didn't start in a rush, where there was just a little space between waking up and the world asking things of me. So maybe you don't need a routine. Maybe you just need a morning, one where you arrive in a day instead of being pulled into it. Even if it only lasts 10 minutes, 10 unrushed minutes is still a morning.